Hello, and welcome back to the Conversations with Cacao podcast. I'm your host, Alexandra Gabrielle, and today we have the honor of being joined by Marlon and Paola of Akasha Cacao. Marlon and Paola are the heart behind the Eco Finca Akasha, a permaculture school in Colombia. Marlon, born and raised in the Andean mountains of Santander, Colombia, spent years searching for deeper purpose, ultimately finding his path through nature, indigenous wisdoms, and sacred plant medicines. Paola, originally from Buenos Aires, explored the world through food, yoga, and cacao, studying culinary arts and chocolate making before embracing a life of regeneration. Together, they founded Eco Finca Akasha, a permaculture school, a thriving ecosystem where they restore the land, grow ceremonial cacao, and share the wisdom of living in harmony with nature. Their work is a testament to healing, connection, and abundance. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Conversations with Cacao podcast. I am here with Marlon and Paola of Akasha Cacao, and I'm so excited to be sitting with them this morning. And before we even dive into the conversation, just allowing ourselves the space to really create space in our minds, in our bodies, to hear the conversation that we're going to have. Allowing ourselves to begin to take a deep breath in, exhaling all around us as we just begin to relax and settle into the present moment, allowing our shoulders to soften, our mind to soften, our hearts to begin to open even more, allowing our hips to soften, our jaw to relax, and our ears to open to deeper listening. Feeling the crown of our head and the spine rooting up towards the heart of the sky, connecting in with the beautiful wisdom that surrounds us, the wisdom of the sun, the moon, the stars, the planetary wisdom. All of these energies beginning to find a way towards you, to nourish you, feeling the blessing of the sun coming in, feeling the blessing of the stars, the blessing of the moon, the blessing of the clouds, the rain, the winds, and allowing this energy to begin to clear out the mind, clearing away any parts that may be distracted, that may be not wanting to be present, and just allowing this energy to just gently clear this away so that we have a calm and tranquil mind. Bringing this energy into our eyes, into our mouth, our throats, our ears, into our shoulders, our hands, all the way down into our heart space. And from our heart, imagining that we have these beautiful roots moving through our body, through our feet, down to the heart of the earth. Feeling our roots becoming one with the earth as the soil begins to nourish us. And the energy of this planet that we're on, feeling it supporting us, feeling it giving back the energy that we need to be here, to show up, to be present, to participate in our life actively, and allowing this energy to just support you, the energy of the earth that is always with us, the earth that we walk upon, the foods that we eat, and allowing this energy to flow into our feet, into our legs, into our knees, into our thighs and our hips, all the way up into our inner organs, nourishing these parts of ourselves that we sometimes neglect, flowing this energy up into our heart. And just for this moment, allowing ourselves to bridge up and feel connected to the heart of the sky, the heart of this universe, and feeling ourselves connected and deeply rooted to the heart of the earth, this planet that we're on. allowing the mind to settle so the heart can speak, so the heart can listen. As we prepare ourselves for this beautiful medicine of cacao, this ally, this guide, this master teacher, and the wisdom of these two beautiful people with me today, allowing ourselves to begin to open up to really deep listening. And for a moment, feeling this connection, and we just want to beam this connection to all of the current listeners, feeling ourselves connected in this moment and receiving from the other listeners as well, the love that is present, beaming this energy to the past listeners and seeing them light up and feeling their love towards you, and beaming this energy to all of the future listeners, seeing them all light up, seeing the connection, the interconnection, the interwovenness, and feeling that love coming right back to you in this moment. And as we open ourselves up to receive this beautiful blessing that we have the honor of receiving today from Akasha Cacao, bringing our cups into our hands, and as an honor for this and a treat for this time, allowing this blessing to be bestowed upon us.
Inhale deeply. Exhale. We first get in contact with ourselves, with this moment. Become present. So we'll listen to the sounds around us. We feel our body and body sensations. Become aware of our thoughts. Become aware of our emotions. And in this way, we invite the spirit of cacao in this place, in this moment. We become one with the medicine of cacao. We open our minds, our hearts, our bodies to this beautiful medicine. Bless our lives, bless this moment. We become channels to this beautiful medicine. We allow the energy and the beauty of this place to come to our lives, to feel the abundance, to feel the blessings, the energy of life all around us. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Gracias, Madrecita Cacao, por estar con nosotros. Thank you, Mother, for being with us. Thank you for taking care of our lives, for guiding our steps, for guiding our decisions. Gracias, Madre, por estar con nosotros.
Yeah, in this very moment, connected with the cacao, sitting here, being present. Put a special prayer for Alexandra for all the work she's doing, for this beautiful project that we're part of at this moment. And that the seeds that we're planting today keeps growing, spreading, reaching all the beings that they need this medicine, and also bringing abundance to our homes, to our families. Help us to connect with our true self, to bring the best of us to this world, the beauty that we carry inside. And ask the spirit of cacao to guide us through this process of life, to give the best of us in every moment, and be more conscious of our actions. And just don't forget to breathe in every moment. Remember that we are alive, we are present, and we are honoring life through doing the best we could.
Thank you for those beautiful, beautiful blessings. I feel like the energy just nourishing me up even more. You're grounded and open and loving energy. That is something that I felt from the first time I sat on the Zoom screen with you many years ago. So I am here today with Marlon and Paola of Akasha Cacao, and they are in their eco finca in Colombia. They just have a beautiful, beautiful space, beautiful hearts, beautiful minds. And without further ado, I would love for you to just introduce yourselves, share a little bit about your journey and how you actually came to work with cacao.
I'll start. My name is Paola Barrientos. I'm originally from Argentina, from Buenos Aires. I lived there for my youth, and then I wanted to travel a little bit to learn about other cultures. So with the energy of youth and wanted to, absorb everything. Yeah, I went to the U.S. Where I met Marlon there, where our journey started together. And by that time also I started to study culinary arts and exploring more of the culture in the U.S. through food. It was really amazing, just to be open to absorb a new culture, new flavors, different way of thinking, different than mine in Argentina. It was an amazing experience during these times of deciding if we decide to stay in the U.S. or what to do. We decided to come to Colombia. And yeah, being here was also an exploration, just come back to Latin America, to whatever it brings to us, but also having, we need to explore more and more, and that lead us to India, where we went to live in an ashram, learning about yoga, meditation, Ayurveda, more connected also with ourselves, something that we were doing in a different way before. But that trip started like this path of being more present through all the tools that we learned there. And it was really nice, really amazing. Then we came back to Colombia, and also with this sensation that we wanted to do something together as a project. And in that time, an opportunity came to me just to go and have an internship in Mexico with a very famous chef, a chocolatier there, where, a different door opens to me about cacao and chocolate and all this business around it. But also on the other side, I feel a little bit of a disconnection between the final product that we produce as chocolatiers and where the cacao was coming from. So Marlon went to visit me, and we decided to go and visit some cacao farms in south of Mexico. It was really nice. It was such an experience. And we realized also in Colombia, we also have kind of the same culture with cacao. But over there, because they were doing this for a long, long time, they had more experience, so they have other views about how they're gonna do it. So yeah, we kind of put the seed in ourselves of what if we do something more connected with cacao and with the things that we learn through our life. And by that time, also the opportunity presents us to take care of this beautiful land that we live in. Yeah, we started school, a permaculture school. We didn't know anything about countryside life. It was very scary at the beginning, many ups and downs in many aspects. But also it opens the door just to put all the knowledge that we have from many different cultures and the things that we wanted in one place. And through permaculture, we start looking to the soil with different eyes. You know, how important is the soil to work with. And this farm also have cacao. When we got it, cacao, coffee, a lot of citrus trees. It was an abandoned farm, so for us was amazing because the land took care of herself for a long time, and the use of pesticides and the use of many bad agriculture that was around here, used around here. Here was more like, I don't know, a treasure, you know, waiting to be discovered. And we were very, very blessed with the opportunity. So it's how we start our journey with cacao, just learning a lot and then arriving to this amazing place we call Akasha, Permaculture School, and also start putting our hands in the land, making compost, open the doors to have visitors to come and learn, students we call it, and also they became family. And little by little, you know, our dream was finding a way. So yeah, this is how we saw the cacao, in a cacao an opportunity also as amazing just to reconnect with what the work we were doing, learning the processes of harvesting, fermentation, the drying, roasting, making cacao paste. Was an amazing experience. And the amazing part is like the first crop that we harvest here was cacao. We had the hole in front of the house full of cacao pots, full. And Marlon's mom was with us at the time, and we were sitting there looking at the waterfall. We have a waterfall right there behind us, and carrying the cacao pots, sharing as a family, listening the sound of the river. And it feels really, really organic, natural, and I think it's something that we took it very deep in ourselves just to take it more seriously, and with the time and with experience and the help with many people, and also waking up every day, doing the work that we have to do, personal, internal, and for the farm, everything started to making sense. So yeah, and cacao was or is the result of all this work, and what it keeps us also awake and alive every day. And opens also a different door to receive people who are looking for this type of medicine in this place. And so they come here, we show them what we do, how we do it. And yeah, this is how we and I connect with the sense of cacao.
Oh, so beautiful. I didn't know that the first crop that you harvested was cacao. It's such a beautiful like symbolism and weaving, and what a beautiful image.
I will look for a picture. I will share to you. They will have one picture sitting there.
I would love to see it. Yeah. We'll make sure to get that up on the podcast too, so people can see it. Oh, that's amazing.
Well, and yeah, it's been an amazing journey. It's like really, when you start thinking, like Paola were talking about all those things, and I had like all these flashbacks, and like, oh my God, yeah, we did that. It's like a dream, you know, like just remember. And at the same time, it's very magical how everything connects, and how beautiful, how life takes you in this amazing journey just to be, you know, where you are right now. And but well, I'm from Colombia. I'm from this region, from Santander. I grew up in the two Santander states. There are two Santanderes. And this, traditionally, this is the cacao region of Colombia. And so, yeah, it's in my blood. I come from farming families, from these regions. And the cacao, the coffee, the sugar cane is in our culture, is in our everyday. We wake up smelling that fermented cacao and the sweetness of the sugar cane and all these sensations, that connects you to your culture and to soil where you are. So yeah, I grew up here, and I have this beautiful this call, to work with the land. So I went and I did my work. I went to study. I went to start forest engineering, and like doing all the things by the book, like everybody says, going to school. And here in Colombia, there is this. Your parents usually want their kids to go to school and like to know and to go away from the farms. They don't want them to experience the farm lives anymore. They want a different thing, because yeah, being a farmer in Colombia is tough. It's tough work. It's not easy, and it's even more difficult now to be a farmer. So yeah, I left this place. I went around the world. I went to study. I went to learn. Went to different places, and I became a scientist. I worked with the rainforest. But yeah, one day, after doing all that work, I think that was my late 20s. After doing everything, by the book, and trying to be a good kid, and pursuing like everybody does, that dream of happiness through the things you do, identifying yourself with what you do, what you know. And suddenly, boom, everything just didn't make sense. And I think we all have that. Sometimes we have that window in our lives, and it's usually around your 30s. There is this specific age where you start asking yourself this period of time, especially in your 20s, where you're exploring and doing things, comes to an end. And then you sort of start asking like these big questions, or having this spiritual call, about what is it that you really like what's in your heart, and feeling this emptiness that we all have, that is telling you, that is something more about life than just what they told us about and what we see just outside. And that's like the second part of my journey. That's of our journey, where everything started. Coming back to Colombia, and then realizing like, that book of Paulo Coelho's book, The Alchemist, when this guy goes away, and then to realize that his treasure was back in his home. I sort of relate that a lot to that book, like coming back to Colombia and then realizing, oh my God, like I live in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and I have this beautiful connection that sometimes we reject it. In Colombia, there is we don't have that sense sometimes, that sense of pride for the things that we have, or we're recognizing all the beauty and all these magical things that we have here. So sometimes you have to get out of your place, or you have to travel the world and to see other things around, and to explore, just to realize, what you have inside. So that was, for me, like a huge metaphor, coming back to Colombia and then reconnecting, and then it's like, it was just right in front of me. So we started this journey. I left my professional background and just, surrender and jump into the void, not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do, and just trusting the flow of life. And thankfully, Paola, she was with me. We were in this journey together, and just trusting. Sometimes you just have to jump and to just let go of any security, and accept that there is there is nothing solid in life, and accepting that uncertainty. So we did that, and we did a few things. We started connecting with the medicines in Colombia, and then it happens that Colombia is one of the places where you find a lot of the medicine, still the natural medicines, and also some of the cultures that live here, that still live here. Some of these cultures have still a very good understanding of the traditions with the medicines, the philosophy, the knowledge, the wisdom. And it's a beautiful time because now they came down from the mountain, literally. They came down and say, hey, it's time to share. It's time for you guys to take this knowledge. And so, yeah, we started connecting with those cultures in the south, and especially with the Sierra Nevada of Colombia, which is a beautiful place up in the north of Colombia, with the Cobis, the Arhuacos, the Wiwas, and learning about all these traditions, all these medicines, and the mystic part that is behind it, the philosophy behind it, to understand really well how they work, at least in their ways. So that's how this thing awake in us, seeing a different way of living, a total different way of paradigm of life. And I guess, yeah, that's where everything started changing, and feeling this call to be close to the land. 10 years ago, we were blessed to take care of this place, Akasha. It was an amazing. Maybe we'll talk about that story another day, but it was a beautiful way when how everything happened, and also starting a community here where we are. There were a bunch of people just kind of in the same way, having the same experiences that we were having, and we all came together to this place, and that's how our community started, supporting each other, growing, also connecting with the native traditions. And well, my background was in environmental science, geospatial analyst. So all this thing is like perfect. Like now I understand why I had to go and learn all those things, all those technical things. But now we were getting like this beautiful knowledge from the native cultures, like to see this in a different way, learning how to reconnect, how to see yourself as part of the system, this beautiful system that is there, and how to take care of that. Seeing yourself not as the administrator or the people who take care of it, but more of a part of the system. Seeing trees, the plants, the animals as your sisters and brothers, and learning to work with them, and understanding how they give a lot to you, how they're there to help you in the same way you're there to help this beautiful thing to move, and this evolution and human experience and living experience. Cacao actually came in the late part of our lives. It was always there. It was one of those medicines that in Colombia, at least you have every day. You get up and your mom, your grandma is always, by the kitchen, like back here, and doing that prayer, like we talked last time. Remember, I don't know if you remember, with the molinillo. We just put, this is the molinillo, by the way. This is like a magic wand in the cacao culture. And we also have the special pot, that represents the feminine part. And so waking up with that little noise, of your grandma and your mom spilling that chocolate, putting their prayers, and doing it in a ceremonial way, but it was also a casual way, something that you do every single day. And understanding how cacao is a beautiful medicine because it nurtures you, it's food, it has a lot of like energy for you, but at the same time it connects to your heart. So to me it was like blowing my mind. Like in Colombia you usually have these medicines that boom, go directly to your heart, or go directly to the difficult emotions, and allow you, to really go deeper into this emotional dimension, like really strong and hard, but that's it. But cacao is like really holistic in that sense. It's something that you can drink every day, which we do, and it gives you the energy and gives you the right set of mind and this emotional understanding, so you can go through your journey during the day, to be present, to be present in everything you do. So it's beautiful, and we're still learning. This is a science. Here, the elders say, "Look, this is a science," and they say, "And if you came to learn this, you'll study all your life, and you will learn about it. And every time you're gonna discover something beautiful and something amazing about this. But it takes time.
Yeah.
And also at the same time, they say this is nice, this is beautiful, this is a gift, but at the same time, this is a burden to work with medicines because it's not easy. Sometimes it's hard to go in this emotional dimension that we all have, and especially we share it with people. And it's just one of the things that we do is one of the ways we use cacao is to go deeper into these difficult things that we all have. We need to heal before we can actually experience and to really understand. We had to go through the dark side of us in order to see the bright side of us, to understand the beauty. We had to go to the darkness as well. And sometimes that's not easy, especially when you work with medicine. So but it's good to have that ¿cómo se dice? Respaldo, the backup of the elders, like to learn from them and to learn it in a way uh, that is healthy, in a way that is let's say safe, to go and to hold the spaces, to cultivate the spaces. And it's also a big blessing for us to grow our own cacao, to have our cacao here on the farm. And something really cool that I really like is that we have our forest. And then, I was studying for like 30 years about, how to grow things and all the ecology and all this science. And then coming here and learning, and I needed to forget about all that, relearn about how things are done, how to see the soil and the earth as a different entity, and then sort of amalgamate all those two sides, the two wisdoms of the science, but also the nature culture understanding of how to tender the land and creating this new way of doing things. And it's very close to our regenerative agriculture, aligned with the permaculture principles. And it's quite beautiful. And it's when we started, like nobody was doing this. We were crazy about doing this in Colombia. But just trusting, like this is it. This is, having that in your heart, like really listening. This is the way. And now, like 10 years after, everybody's just talking about this in Colombia. It's a big boom. And so I'm quite happy, like to say, hey, this is a place, like to have an example that things can be done, that it is possible, like if you really, really connect to your heart and to listen to it, that it shows you the way, it guides you. And having a place where people can come and learn about the medicine, how to take care of the land, how to be part, of this beautiful system. Really, that's our dream. At least in my dream is that, like what happens, if we dare to think differently and to act in a different way. And yeah, like what would happen, if we really feel and see ourselves as part of this beautiful system, not as individuals, not as single persons, struggling through life, but seeing ourselves as part of this beautiful system. So I believe in that, and when I do that, and when I get to experience that, things change. Things just become beautiful and nice, and the heaviness of life just goes away. So I guess that's the seed, that I want to plant. I don't want to change anybody, of course. I don't want to say this is the way, but at least this is the way that it's been worked for me and for us, and this is what we share. This is what we want to share to the world. So I guess that was a long answer.
It's beautiful. There's so many parts that were illuminated and we can talk about. And one thing that really stands out is, the culture of, from what it seems like for me on the outside, is really moving in the physical. Like you were saying, your family was all farmers, and it was like, no, we don't want you to be that. So it's like all rooted down from like just the physical, and then moving into the realm and the space of traveling in the mental, the intellectual, this aspect, and then coming back and having this heart medicine that becomes the bridge for the embodiment of the intellectual, the mind, to the body, and allowing the system to kind of reharmonize, where you take both parts of information where both are valid, but how do you actually put them into balance, put them into action in a way that harmonizes? And I think just like the metaphor, or just the symbolism of the work that you do really reflects that, of working with the soils, the permaculture, how everything's working together, how everything has its part, everything has a system and a role that it plays. It's super, super cool. And I love, and one thing that has stuck out to me after many years that we had this conversation, I think it's like almost 2 years ago now.
Wow,
We had
2
the
years.
conversation. Yeah. And there's this one thing that always comes back to me, where we were talking about the medicine, and you both were saying that, the medicine does so much, but you have to meet it as well. You have to show up to be present, to work with it as well. And I come back to that a lot, and I share that a lot too. Yeah, all of these tools are here, but we also have to show up and work with it and move through it and go through the darkness and the struggle. And for me, like yesterday was one of those harder days, and it was, of course, before I was serving medicine, and it was like an hour and a half before the women were coming, and I was like, I think I should just cancel. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? This doesn't make sense. What is this impact? What is happening? Nothing matters. And I was just like, all right, let myself feel for a second. And then I cried. And then I sat there and I said, all right, Mama Cacao. And I was working with the goddess Kuan Yin as well. And I'm like, Kuan Yin, if I am meant to hold the circle, if this is the right path for me today, if it is to the highest good in the unfolding, please give me the strength, the clarity, and the energy to just create the space and guide me through the circle. And then time, I swear, time bent. And I got more done in 45 minutes than I did like the whole day. And it all came together, and it was such a beautiful circle. And the women that were there, had really beautiful insights and movement, and for me too. And I had to face some parts. I had to self-initiate into parts that were uncomfortable. But after, it's like, boom, like the energy just like it clears up, and you start to zing. And I'm like, that's the hard part of working with the medicine. It's like, no, I don't want to. This is not fun. I don't like this part. Yeah, and I think it's so beautiful because you are also very honest, really honest about your journey and the struggle that it is. Because I think a lot of times nowadays, homesteading is really glamorized, and it's really beautiful that people are doing that and bringing that back. But I think there's sometimes a disconnection to, what it actually takes, where we think, oh, everything should just be easy. Everything should you should just do it once and it works. And I love that you talk about the struggle. Like, it wasn't easy. It was like, there was a lot of facing self in order to come to the place where you are now thriving, where community is just buzzing around you, where the elders are working with you. And I would love for you to speak a little bit about that part, and maybe for people going through harder times, like what got you through, and your message in that, because I think it's really powerful.
Well, struggle. Every day brings something, Every day, if you're not prepared, you're not aware, it's very easy that you get into the energy of frustration or disconnection. For me personally, I have a personality, it's a very structured. And also I need routine. But sometimes, getting to the routine and structure make things very difficult to the energy to flow. Just to feel, just to really let the emotions come out, or just be with yourself. And as a woman, I think like we've been talking with a lot of women. We have circles of women here or sharing with friends. And sometimes it is something that I notice that is very common in us. It's like we want to have the control of things. And sometimes we get lost in the game and in different aspects, you know, some have kids, others have projects, personal life. And sometimes, you know, you want to cover everything. And there is a point that, you know, you're going to crash if you don't take care of yourself, because you take out yourself of the equation of life, because you want to control, but you don't want to, or you forgot. It's not that you don't want to, just you forget to remember that for everything to be okay, you need to be okay. And sometimes you need just to let everything fall down, you know, just to crash. And what I realize is like when you let these things crash, it's difficult because you want to hold and control it. But when you let everything crash, it's like a release of energy. But if you have more clarity afterwards, as you're saying, you know, your experience yesterday. And it's those moments of chaos, for me, when the clarity or the connection with God, with what I'm praying, what I believe, what my faith is, when it's more strong, when I really surrender to it. And I think it's life. This is life, you know, that's just what's going on. But also just to learn to surf the wave, you need also just to stop. Stop, take some time and really put yourself in the picture. And remember that you're human and you cannot hold everything. There are some aspects of you that they need attention. And if you don't put attention, it will be not nice for your health, for your family, for your community. So what it worked for me is just to be aside, you know, just to have a lonely time, just to be alone, do my practice, try to have the structure within myself, not outside. And then from there, start little by little learning. And it's so magical because when I'm in the mood of doing that, just the information comes through the cacao, in a meditation, through a friend say you something, just a phone call, something you read. You know, it's magical. Like you open a door for all this good energy to come to you, and you're more open to listen, more open to realize. And when you realize, just it's a new start. But I think it's an everyday thing, you know, it's not a perfect day. Sometimes we call a perfect day when we have everything under control. This is a perfect day, but not even that. It's more about how in peace are with yourself and how in peace are with your emotion, how in peace are you are with your thoughts about yourself. And also you see a lot of patterns that sometimes you act because of the wishes of everybody, just to please people, just to society, please, you know. And then it's something inside of you that is not feeling good. And this is very important, just to go through the process, because when you start feeling the sensation, it's because your intuition is telling you it's not this way. So it's important just to also listen to your intuition. Be exposed also for challenges, but challenges that make you grow. Naturally, you stay in the same spot every day and every day. Yeah, I think I'm living now in this time of my life that is kind of put myself first a lot of times, and I let other things just to go on the flow, you know, that they need to be go. If I can manage something, I'll do it, you know. But also, if I don't feel good about doing something, I just wait and see and listen and take my time. I grew up in this culture of doing things in a rush, like done, checklist, you know. And it's important to do that sometimes, you know, but not all the time. Not if you are forgetting about yourself, no, but if you're living the life of others, expectation of other people. It takes time, you know. You have to go through that darkness and little by little trust that is meaningful. We have a really good medicine in this process of darkness. And cry is the best. Cry is the best. For me, I love crying. I love when I have my moon. I just embrace it a lot and kind of go deep in there. It's difficult to get out, but where we have an opportunity. So I think life is a matter of experience, exploration. So this is one part of it: emotions and learning how to deal. Not being a victim, but just understanding there is a moment. These too shall pass, as they say.
Yeah. That's some solid advice right there. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for really exploring that, because there are so many things that I think we just kind of get caught up in, and we're in the flow, we're in the habit of control, and we don't know what else to do. And I think those are really beautiful tools of like kind of snapping out, like, no, there's a different way. Let it all fall. Let it all just shatter to the ground, and then realize you're still okay. Like everything is still fine. I would love to shift the conversations a little bit, because you both are a wealth of knowledge in technical parts of farming and permaculture and the growth of cacao and the soil and chocolate. And I would love to explore your expertise here. I think kind of just to share whatever excites you the most, or Paola, your relationship of chocolatiering and how you implement in the techniques that you use for making the cacao here, and the engineering aspect of what it actually looks like, the environment that cacao needs to grow in, what it needs for our listeners that maybe aren't so familiar with the environment that cacao grows in. So all of that information, take it, run with it, share anything you want.
Oh, we're gonna need more than 3 hours, Alexa. Just got my spot. Yeah, no, this is exciting. This is our most favorite thing, talking about cacao and all its aspects. I want to learn it all. I want to know it all. You know, and at the same time, it's always a mystery. It's always you get to a certain point. You get to know to certain things, but then after that, it's just magic. So, and like we say here in Colombia, if you need to understand that, we need to drink medicine, like we need to sit down and go in a different way to understand certain aspects. Because there is a mystical part. I would like to start like by saying that the way, like for us, the cacao, it's more of a relationship, and it's been like that. But it was like that for thousands and thousands of years. Every single culture in this world was connected to specific plants, and these plants usually gave a culture, a people, a group of people, a way to survive, a way to heal, a way to connect, a way to sustain the community. And so when you talk to the elders, they talk about, when they talk about plants, they talk as if they were relatives. And they are. They say, and they also have every single native culture. They have a story. They have this, how do you say, myth about the plants that they use, that they work, that right. So on the corn, for example, in the U.S., or the tobacco, or the cacao, or the ayahuasca, or like all these plants, that feeds the people, and they give you a way to sustain your life on this earth. So for them, it's a very close relationship. So when I started learning that, it's like my mind was like shifted. It's like, of course, because I grew up, it's just seeing plants as just something that you plant, so they give you a fruit or a root or something you take and then you can use and sell. And seeing like this utilitarian way, of using plants, it's like, they're there for me, so I can use it for this, I can use it for, this is for healing, so I'll take it for healing. But no. For them, it's like, no. They're your relatives. You need to take care of it. You need to establish a relationship. So, and that for me was a big shift in my life. It's like, it's like, it's like, of course. how I miss this, So you start developing a relationship, and you develop a relationship to the soils, how you tender. You don't grow plants, you just facilitate a few things, and then you just allow nature, Pachamama, Haktamama, Mother Nature, to take care of things. She's a big mother. She's the mother of all the living things here on this earth. So you just part of this beautiful process of life, and you just learn that you just need to do a few things on your land, just to take care of it. Sometimes our modern culture we overdo and overthink stuff. And now we're creating a huge mess. When we talk about agriculture, it's a huge mess right now. We don't understand what we're doing, right? It's just the only um, the base in which we do everything is like, just do this so you can get that, and then just sell it so you get a profit. It's basically what it is. So developing this relationship to me is quite important, like in the process of healing, and also in the process of creating a beautiful medicine. So when you take care of a medicine, it means, what does it mean? Does it mean like, I do a bokashi and biofertilizers, and I do a beautiful trimming? And it's more than that. It's about surrendering to Mother Nature. It's about surrendering to a plant, right? Like right now, if I ask you, if I have this question, like, what do you trust? Where do you put your faith in your life? What is it that makes you get up in your everyday and finding the strength, finding the, let's say, like the security, to do what you need to do? What gives you the energy? What gives you the passion? What gives you the, that motivation? And I think that's a good question to ask ourselves. What does it What does that come from? And so we're looking like for these on things, in concepts, in books. And now the personal growth and all this thing is like really impressive, because we are hungry to understand this, But for the native cultures, it's like, well, for them it's easy. It's like, duh. It's basically your relationship with nature. It's the relationship with that you have around you with the plants. So the plants in our culture, they give you that. So the cacao, when you drink in the morning, well, it's feeding you. It's nurturing. It's feeding your heart. It's giving you the tools that you need to go through your life. And of course, we have a range of tools, let's say, or friends or relatives. We have the yuca, the plantains, the potatoes, and all these amazing things. So you establish a relationship with them, but then you need to surrender to that, to trust it. And I think that's really hard. Like, what do you trust? Could you trust a plant? Can you put your trust into a plant and say, hey, I'm going to let you guide my life, and I'm going to trust my integrity, my human life, and I'm going to trust it on you. And that's the difference between, our culture and the native cultures. They trust it. They see us, their mother, they see it. And in our culture as well, everything comes from the earth, We don't produce, food or things out of nothing. So it is.
They're trying though.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they're trying now, like
Good
really
luck,
weird
good,
stuff.
good luck with that.
They're trying, and but yeah, it's like those crazy things, It's like the service of stupidity, just like Eckhart Tolle says, It's like, you need to overthink it, man. Just a plan, they do it, and you don't have to do much. So trusting, and then when you start doing that, and it's a process. It's really hard, I tell you. Like we're part of this modern culture as well. But then you start working with them, and it does work. It gives you the energy. We're talking that nurtures you, but it even gives you all the material stuff that you need. Let's say the economy. Like that you need to live your life, like to sustain your life. And it's like, wow, this is really cool how you can trust something very natural, something very, the best, mystery, and it works. So it's like a shifting in paradigms, like because right now most of us like, yeah, what do you need to do? Well, to survive, I need to work and I need to do stuff and I need to learn and I need to do stuff and and this native culture is like, no, 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 no. You just need to learn how to connect to the earth. And of course, we live in different times. I know, like, not everybody can live in a farm or to accept this life. But that's where this job that you are doing, and all the people that work with the medicines, with the cacao are doing. We need the people that can actually help to spread this seed, or like I said, sometimes to spread that virus, into the system, like that can share this beautiful medicine to the people that need it. So it's
Yeah.
like a beautiful organic transition, and we also need to ask ourselves where we are right now. What is it that the times that we're going through, our history, what happened, why do we live the way we're living? And when you start asking those questions, you realize that, yeah, back in those days, there was a totally different way of doing and understanding, seeing reality. Yeah, we changed it, we shifted. And in the last
Yeah.
40 years, it's been, more aggressive. And it's going to be even more crazy in 10 years, and I don't want to get into that into the future because it's going to be even more crazy before this, change. It's
Yeah.
part of our human journey. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's wrong. We just, this is what we needed. It's perfect. What we're
Yeah.
living, what we're going through is just perfect. It's what we needed to experience, to wake and to realize and to understand where we are, where we come from, and what we came here to do. So yeah, so to me, it's about that. It's like, can we really establish? Can you really feel? And can you really surrender to nature, to plant, and to say, I trust you, And I'll just be a channel and to do what I need to do and to speak what I need to speak and to think what I need to think. It's nothing coming from my mind. It's nothing coming from me. Of course, we are in that duality of ego and really becoming a channel. But at the end, that's all we need to do. Just to surrender and then allow the magic happens. And like we were saying before, and I understand you really well when you were saying, about last night, this beautiful moment. But I tell you, that's a good sign, Alexander. That's a good sign. When when you're just about to do a ceremony and everything just falls apart and you're scared and then you see like, I'm just gonna cancel, because that's the thing. We like to run away.
Yeah.
We don't like to, I just be in my home. I do my cup of cocoa. I'll do my meditation, is the easy way. But especially for the people that are serving, like you, the work that you're doing, I think it's a good sign, that you have that, because that's, if you, one elder told me, one grandma told me, look, if you're not afraid, if you don't feel uncomfortable, if you don't feel like, just want to run away, then you shouldn't be doing medicine. You shouldn't be doing medicine. Yeah. Well, it's a good thing, Alexander. You're going the right way. Because then you do it, and usually when we trust it, sometimes it goes wrong, especially at the beginning. But with time, you understand, you accept that, you find that compassion also towards yourself, because that's exactly what we need to learn. Saying, hey, I'm scared. Hey, I don't feel, like capable, or I don't feel like I have all the things that I need to have to do this, but still, I'm going to do it. And usually at the end, things work out nice, and you put your seed, and every time it's easier, and every time you learn how to let go of that heaviness and to connect with the magic of the medicine that you serve, just connect to yourself, to be present, which is at the end, that's all we need to do. So yeah, so you're good. Yeah. I we totally relate, even sometimes we just let's just close this farm, and like just do our thing. Then you cannot run away. What else are you gonna do? What else?
Yeah.
Where are we gonna hide?
Yeah.
And of course, to me in general, for the people that are listening to us, and I tell you, if you're listening to this, whoever is listening to this, it's because you were supposed to be here. You were supposed to listen to this, and because
Yeah.
you're supposed to get something. So just trust it. Trust the energy of the cacao, and you'll find something here that's gonna be beautiful for you.
Mm.
Um, there is a process first. There is always a process of healing. We need to understand that, yeah, there are things inside of us, and generational things that we inherit, and also the things that we're bringing in this life. So there are things that we need to heal. So we need to learn how to navigate through the emotional dimension to get in touch with those difficulties in our heart, which are basically the barriers that doesn't allow us to grow. But at the same time, it's not like they're bad, but they're also when you learn to work with this, let's say, negative part, just to call it that way. Once you work with it, you flip the side, and you understand that those difficulties, that things that you see as something bad for your life, they become actually your treasure. That's where your skills come from, the skills that you're going to share in this world. So
Mm.
all that heaviness, all those difficulties, all those difficult processes, they're not just there to give you nightmares and to make your life difficult, but they're actually the ones that are going to allow you to grow, and those are the things that are it's your we call it the las monedas, the coins, the treasure that you're receiving as
Mm-hmm.
well. So we need to
Mm.
navigate and to become this alchemist, that you turn something that looks bad and feels bad into something that is beautiful, and where your mission in this work actually comes from as well. It's
Yeah.
very related to that. So there is a process of healing. And the
Yeah.
cool thing about the natives is, the elders we talk, they teach about that. So
Yeah.
it's not about running away. It's not about, just seeing the light, but also, no, see the darkness, see the darkness. And then you understand there is no such a thing as darkness and light, that everything is
Yeah.
just one thing, right?
Mm.
So they help you to navigate through this difficult process, and they do have the techniques. These guys are, once you start talking and to connecting to them, you realize that these guys are so wise that we about the human nature, because they not only understand the material part, but they also understand the invisible part, let's call it. So, and they
Mm.
have ways and techniques and, ceremonies or these daily rituals that help you to clean, your emotional, your thoughts, your emotions, to go deeper, to get in touch with the dark side of you, and
Yeah.
learning to have that conversation, like gaining the strength. Then you go into the learning process. So first is you got the healing process, then you go into, let's say, the learning,
Mm-hmm.
like getting deeper into this, like helping in the ceremonies, understanding all these things. And then there's a third part, which is the service or the responsibility. Once you learn, it comes like it's not for you to become, the spiritual ego, like, yeah, I know, I can share, I'm gonna heal you. Like, no, 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 no. We need to go through that process as well. But it comes, this part of responsibility where you serve, and you start sharing what you know, what you learn, and sharing with the people that it's open to listen. And then the people that needs to hear that will come to you, will connect to you, will resonate with you. So you need to understand that you have a service, and it's your responsibility, that we cannot run away. And like sometimes that's exactly what we want to do is but at the end, and if you read all the spiritual books and all the personal growth there, at the end they said, yeah, your happiness or your well-being or your peace comes from service,
Yeah.
learning how to share what you have, your skills, and what you know, and then everything is good. And So yeah, I don't know if that was a little too much, and
No, it was perfect.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing all that. That is, I had a few like paradigm awareness shifts as you were speaking too, and partly related to, joking about how humans are trying to create food from nothing, and how the earth has bestowed us with everything that we need, and the realization that she actually gave us currency.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, here's everything. You have food, you have shelter, you can make it all. Here's even currency here. And I that's what clicked in too, where it's like, oh wow, we now made currency out of nothing. Like we took what the natural currency was and then made it a fabrication of non like, there's money isn't real. Like it says there is a vibration here, and the physical change of what that is now exists on our plane, but it's like genetically modified plant substance, I guess, or energetic substance in a way. That's like what I'm working with now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really fascinating because when you're asking these questions of, what do you trust? Where does the willpower come from? And I'm like, I trust plants way more than humans. Like, yeah, give me like a real plant. Give me a plant that a human hasn't touched. I will trust it 1000%. But anything that the humans start to tamper with, I'm like, no, 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 no. I want the real plant. And this morning, as I was eating breakfast, I was eating the spinach, and it's like organic spinach, and I'm like, this doesn't taste. This doesn't taste real or right. And I got your voice audio, Paola, and you're like, we're eating breakfast now, and I hear all the birds, and I just felt the nourishment from your voice audio. I'm like, your voice audio and the energy from like the food you were eating was way more nourishing than the breakfast I ate, which was like organic, spinach and mushrooms and, cage-free eggs and whatever it is. But that the energy of the authenticity of the plant
Mm-hmm.
is like devoid there. That doesn't. So I think it's really interesting that you bring that conversation in of like fully trusting the plants, and it's like, yeah, the plants know it. The plants are the direct connection from the source. Yeah, so my issue isn't really with the plants, it's with the humans. And then you brought in compassion too. And I always love to call cacao my cup of compassion, and having compassion in those moments. And the irony or the synchronicity is that I was holding a circle for, it was with cacao and compassion. It was a circle about compassion and integrating and embodying that compassion, true compassion in our life, and what that looks like. And the misconception that compassion is like just loving, just, if you don't feel like it, don't do it. But real compassion is, what is most loving to you in this moment? Maybe in this moment, what is most loving to you is getting up and doing that thing that you don't want to do, because that's the path through. And that is the love that will tear away the boundary that is keeping you from fully expressing as you are. And that is the highest form of love. So it's like breaking through all that to really hold compassion and cacao. And yeah, so thanks for weaving that in today too. Very, very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite an interesting topic, and it's something that we naturally also, when you start working with yourself and when you really, have this impulse to heal and to just feel different, that's what comes. I think sometimes we put too much attention to the positive emotions and sensations, and we disregard or we reject, the negative side of us, difficulties, and to me, accepting, those difficult emotions is quite important. If not, what we need to do to actually heal. We're humans. We need to understand that we're having a human experience. Yeah, we are spiritual beings, but we're having a human experience. We're here. And sometimes we sort of reject this, we don't like. And it's tough, just like Buddha said, this is this living is difficult. You got emotions, you got sensations. You're thirsty, you're hungry, you're angry, and in one day we go over all those emotions. Yeah, we feel love, we feel tenderness and connection, but sometimes we also feel hate. We feel sadness, we feel um, yeah, really strong stuff. And sometimes we don't want to, we just want to have all the beautiful emotions, and we just have to have the beautiful things. But I think it's quite important to also to accept and to give the space to them. Maybe not to surrender to emotions, but also but actually to really accept them in our lives as well. It's part of our human nature. Sometimes we feel rejection towards something, or heavy emotion, and then it's like we feel bad for feeling that emotion, and then we feel bad about feeling bad about it, and it's like it becomes like these layers and layers that basically just creates an obstacle to just being present. So learning to see them, learning to navigate, and that's actually some of the for the elders, that's what they say. They're very aware of this, and they have ways of these daily routines, and actually the whole day is just basically learning how to deal with this thing, to seeing, to being present, to connect to your heart, to connect to your body, to connect to your thoughts. We have these three dimensions, dimension of thoughts, dimension of emotion, and the material dimension, the instinctive dimension, the material dimension. So they always, their message is like, be always in contact with them, be always present, see them and clean them. They say, yeah, it's a way to clean. And sometimes what happens is that you feel something heavy, and then we just cling to it. We don't, they call it, you don't clean it. So you just keep it inside yourself, and then you go to bed, and that thing remains there, and then we are clinging, and we are carrying negative emotions and heavy experiences since our childhood, and since a few generations back, and that's what these the elders talk about. It's like, you need to clean that. You don't have to carry those things with you. And so accepting that negative part, and I think Carl Jung also talk a lot about that as well. We need to learn. We need to get we need to befriend with this dark part of us, in order to be at peace with ourselves.
I'm curious, and I'm sure there are a few of our listeners that are curious of like, do you have any of these techniques that you are able to share about how to actually the process of cleaning the emotions, and tools that people could use for that?
Yes, we do. I don't. I never share it just on a podcast. That's usually what we do, and
I can do a little, like a little meditation with it, and then you can show it a
or
little bit, this is how you can do it with the cottons and stuff.
yeah, like it depends on the culture. We have different ways to do that. We have it with the cacao. You can do it with the cacao. We have it with different. We also use the mambe, or the different plants, or the cotton. We use this cleaning, but that's something like, it's a ritual, that we need to do. But maybe that will be a good for another podcast, or maybe for next time when you visit us, Alexandra. We'll use
Yeah.
But with the cacao, it's possible also to do. It's a little bit different from what people are used to do it. And when we do a ceremony, let's say a type of ceremony with cacao, it's a ceremony, it's a metaphor for life. It's an alchemia. You do alchemy. So you use the cacao as a plant to sort of go into to connect to you, to yourself, to the heavy things that you have to clean. So one of the things that we do is, like, the ceremony it's not about drinking. That's the very last part. That's like the celebration. But the actual ceremony comes before. So where you take the cacao, the beans, you sit down, you light the fire. And the beans is like ourselves. So we put a prayer and sort of we have this connection. So they're there, you touch it, you feel it, and then you have the fire. And the fire is usually in the mystic culture is seen as something that transmutes, that changes, that allows you to evolve, to see. So you take those cacao beans and you put it into a pot, by the fire, on the fire, and then you start stirring, you start roasting the cacao. And when you start roasting, you roast in one direction. And that roasting, when you keep quiet, you feel the heat, you feel the smell, and you sort of enter this state of openness, and it start talking to you. So the elder will start talking, will start saying a prayer, and when you start roasting and moving doing this movement, you surrender, and then the thoughts start coming to your mind, the visions sometimes. And let's say you're having a difficult situation, and sometimes you get like these little messages. Sometimes you feel the emotions, the heavy emotions. Sometimes you sort of see, you have this flashback of what happened back there, to understanding where it's coming from. And it's like you're roasting yourself. So in order for us to grow, we need to bake ourselves. We need to roast ourselves. We need to go into the darkness, and we need to allow fire to transmute ourselves. So you start roasting, and you start feeling these emotions, and you start communicating with the people that are there. This is what I feel. This is what's going on in my life. Sometimes the tears come. Sometimes the fire talks as well. You feel the smoke, you feel the heat, you burn out a little bit. And you have to be careful, because if you have too much fire, you burn yourself, you burn the cacao. And if it's too little, then it's not good, it's not enough. So you have to find, it's hard to just explain it it's something that is just good to do it. So you get to a point where you roast it, where you have a clarity of what's going on. And then what comes, the next step is the peeling. So you catch the cracking and the peeling, so you put the beans onto a pan, into a tray. And what happens? So we got layers in our heart that doesn't allow us to shine and to see the beauty inside of us. So now the cacao shells, you start peeling them away. And that's where another circle of work comes, where you start talking about this, like getting deeper. And getting deeper is very similar. In this stage is very similar to nonviolent communication, where you start sharing your emotions, sharing your thoughts. Yeah? And maybe the expectations, how heavy. And when you do that, the people that are around you, sometimes you feel connected to that. Sometimes somebody remembers, something similar, and these people share what she or he did, to resolve that situation. It's not about giving advice. It's not about telling you, what to do. It's more of a sharing, or just the feeling of connection. Like, I see your pain, I see in your eyes, and I see that you're suffering, or I see that is this heavy for you. Or sometimes it's like, this happens to me, and this is what I did, this is what I experienced, and and sometimes, that's when we connect with everybody, and that's what everybody shares. And there you find the compassion, you find the love, you find that sharing is the most beautiful medicine. And sometimes just about sharing from the vulnerable part of you, that's when healing actually comes from. So you peel it and you take it away from your heart. And what you do afterwards, well, you toss it into the fire, those pills, right? And then what you see, what you have is this treasure, these magical things, this beautiful being that shines.
Jewel.
It's you. you know, your medicine, your beauty. And what you do with it? Oh, you make a beautiful chocolate with it, beautiful cacao. Yeah, so you take it, you grind it, and the grinding is the other part. Now you were baked, you went through the oven. Now we need to grind, we need to extract the best out of us, the essence, the beauty. So now we grind it, we put it into water. And what's water? Water is love, water is life, water is emotion, you know. And then after that, after you have that, you take the molinillo, in your cup, and you have these two beautiful energies, the female, and the masculine and the feminine, and you comes together because every medicine needs to have both, um, um, both sides. They have to be feminine and they have to be masculine, and you stir it, you know. And when you stir it, that's like making love. And through that making love, something beautiful comes from that. A new use. You're reborn. And you put the prayer, maybe the prayer for finding the strength to do what you need to do, having that difficult conversation, having that strength to share. This thing that you share here with the people, then you need to share that with, because, yeah, we need to face it, you know? And then what you do, you bless it, and then you drink it. And when you drink it, it's like the whole process now is part of you, it's in your heart. So it's like you plant it in you, and now you're planting the strength, the prayers from everybody, the sharing from everybody, all is there. This is an organic material, so everything is absorbed into this concoction, into this cacao, and you drink it. So now it's in you. And now you find the strength, and you'll see it, you'll feel it. Then now you'll have the strength to share it, and to do the stuff that you need to do. So that's a way of cleaning with the cacao. This is one type of ceremony with the cacao.
That was a really beautiful practice. And part of that too is I made my own cacao for the ceremony yesterday. And I had peeled it the day before, but then coming to the grinding part and the intention. And for me, I love the connection of roasting the cacao and then peeling it, because every bean I peel by hand, it's like connection to that one single bean. And yeah, the peeling away. On meditation, so often I come back to that image of peeling away and then allowing the hardness to soften and all of the different parts coming into one, because it's all of these beans that come together and then they become something else. And then the alchemy of first the bean to the chocolate, and then what it becomes within us opens the doorway to infinite possibility. So thank you for bringing us on that journey, and I'm sure you have inspired a lot of people to visit you in Colombia. And I would love to hear, Paola, your connection of, well, whatever's coming up for you, but I'm also curious about, you were speaking about the disconnect of the chocolate industry and your work with the chocolatier, and how you have found a way to bridge that world with what you do now.
Working with cacao, with chocolate, as a chocolatier, it's a lot of beauty. It's pure art, because what they make is amazing. It's beautiful, beautiful material that you can also eat it, and you can also explore it with your eyes, touch it, and it's beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. It's a part of, like, I was kind of connected for a long time in myself, but just to put that type of art in a piece of chocolate. But that was, for me, a time in my life, like, it was mostly, I feel it more about doing art, but without soul. I'm not really feeling it. It's just, you see beautiful thing, but I didn't really kind of connect it. And also when you work in making these bonbons or these pieces of art, it's like you finish and next, no? And you have to also be improving yourself, learning a lot, and working a lot. It's a lot of work. It's a very delicate material, very delicate, with temperatures, a lot of aspects you need to take in consideration. And the people who are devoted to it, I admire them because, it's really, really nice. But for me personally, I realized like the part that I was disconnected is about the roots, the roots of the cacao, where it's coming from, how you create these pieces of art and don't see the beginning, the plant, the soil, the seeds, the workers, the water, many aspects, of the cacao. So in my part, I feel like working with the plants of the cacao, seeing them in Mexico, feeling the peace that when you walk through these cacao farms, the cacao forests, all the beauty with the birds, how the workers also work in peace with it. It's not rush, they have to take their time, taking care of the plants. It's really nice, you feel the real, it's more genuine. It's more, it's more connected with what chocolate really, really is. So I feel that, and then when we had the opportunity to be here in Akasha and working with the plants or collecting the cacao was a different connection that I have with the plant. I feel kind of more close to what we do, more rooted to the place also because this is the place that we call home. It's where we are rooted ourselves. Is the plant also bring us just to be living in this place and being taking care of whatever we do here with the plants. It was like a metaphor, taking care of yourself and how you take care of the plants and vice versa, like how plants take care of yourself. And this is a beautiful and organic way that I've been exploring. And also, when you drink the cacao, it's a different perspective because you see when the pods are cutting from the tree, when you process which plant is with different part of the forest. Also, you see the changes of the weather here, the rainy season, the dry season, you kind of feel what the plant is experiencing. And it's a different feeling, completely different feeling. And that part of, I feel disconnected working with chocolatier in some parts, but was bringing beauty at the same time. But I think this one, this part of working in the land or being part of hold the space for this magic to happen here, it's more real. Yeah, it's more real for me. Still, I miss those times I had to make these beautiful bonbons and stuff like that. But I don't know if they come for a place of the ego part or still like a memories, I had to figure it out. But also, that was a part of my life that I really, I'm grateful for to explore it for a time. And I still have a lot of contact, beautiful and amazing chocolatiers that now I see that them are more connected with the land, trying to find the best cacao for them, going to farms. Have a person that I work with, she's in Ecuador and doing an amazing job and also looking for the best cacao, visiting farms, knowing where the cacao is coming from, be more in touch, with the origin of that. So for me, at the moment, I'm really, really happy because everything in the farm went very organically and we were growing kind of together. We have more plants, more idea how to expand, how to grow. But at the moment with the ceremonial cacao, I see that it's an insignia product that we have here. And it's an amazing medicine that brings a lot of good to people. So I'm really, really happy that everything is happening here and with the neighbors around us that have kind of the same vision as we do. And I think that's important, taking care of the house, taking care of where everything is coming from, and learning, keep on learning, because it's a learning process. You never stop learning, and
I love how you said you really enjoyed making like these beautiful chocolate bonbons and creating that beauty. But I feel like your cacao creates that beauty within the hearts. It's a different kind of creation of beauty. And really interesting too, the shift of the relationships that you have to different craft chocolatiers or artisanal chocolatiers, and how there is that call to come back to the earth. Like, wait, where now that that conversation is being had, where is this actually coming from, and how do I get the best, and what makes it the best? The best is when we take care of the land, when the farmers are happy, when the earth is happy, and that actually produces the most delicious chocolate possible. Yeah, interesting. And I'm curious to see how. I'm not super into like the craft chocolate world, but I am getting a little bit more from the people I'm talking to that have a foot in that world, that there is a bigger movement happening towards bringing awareness and anchoring that back into the foundation of the soils and the foundation of where our chocolate comes from.
I think it's an interesting times because now we have suddenly is all this thing about cacao. Before it was very dormant, in my opinion, and now this new vision about cacao is coming. Now there's new regulations, from Europe and from other parts. Like cacao has to come from forest agroforestry, from techniques. You there's a lot of like forest cutting for cacao, and so it seems like people are looking more for this type of cacao that it's growing in natural systems that support life, that supports biodiversity. And to me, it's quite cool because this is what we were doing for 10 years. We're growing a food forest, we're growing a system that is not only to grow cacao, but it's something that it's a place of abundance and beauty. We not only have cacao, we have coffee, we have mangoes, oranges, like all different things. So we don't have a very, let's say, productive forest because it's kind of like just a diversified forest. So it's not geared towards high profitability. It's not, like another business would do, and everybody was, they call us crazy at the beginning. Like, what are you doing? Why you have this, lime tree here? Just cut it and just plant your cacao. Is one cacao is one less cacao you have. If you have something else, and like, no, 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 no. I want diversity. I want different things. And that's part of the permaculture principles as well. And now we're going into restoring places. These mountains, people were using them as cow pastures, which is not very smart to do that. And now we're recovering, making these places into a beautiful abundant forest. Not only just cacao, but different things. And it seems like the same problem, in Ivory Coast, where the cacao farmers and the cacao plantations, they have a system that pretty much, and even here in Colombia, it just resembles a type of a modern slavery where people don't receive a fair price, or they don't receive at least not even for a survival economy. So, and that's actually the big problem that we're having. Like, so people are tired of cultivating something that doesn't give them, let's say, the resources, to live. And so that's why a lot of the plantations got sick. That's why a lot of people are just running away. They don't want to do it anymore. This is calling for a newer way of doing cacao. So it was very cheap back in the days, when we started. It was extremely cheap compared to maybe other crops, coffee, but now prices are amazingly high because there is not enough cacao. It's not there's a huge consumption of cacao, and there is not enough cacao in the world. Like Colombia doesn't even export. All the cacao in Colombia is pretty much used here in Colombia. So it seems like it's a good time. It's a good start, before things get better. It has to go a little bit difficult. But I think there is more consciousness about how to grow cacao, not only cacao, but any other plant. It's nice, that when people talk to us, when we explain what we do, and people support us, Sometimes I see a lot of situations also, especially from friends in Europe, that they say, well, we find ceremonial cacao here at a very cheap price. It's not possible, it's very difficult to produce 1 pound of cacao, 1 pound of ceremonial cacao. doing the right things, being like really taking care of it, it's a bit expensive. So for us, it's very important to people to understand this part of things. What it represents, what it takes. It's really hard work. To work here in the mountains, to grow cacao, to process it, and so it's nice when people now start understanding, what it takes to produce this medicine and to support us, and something good is like I can tell them, I can show them, like this come, this is how we do it, this is what we do, this is the techniques that we have, that is very in that sense is very transparent, and so it's lovely when people support us, because it's not about supporting a business. We don't consider this business. This is our life. This is our service. This is what we do. So when people support this type of project, it's supporting that way of life, supporting a different way of doing things, supporting a different way of perceiving life, and it's spreading that seed. And to me, that's what I'm really thankful for. But yeah, I'm quite glad and quite optimistic about the future. And also I'm very happy, how people are resonating now with cacao, which back in the days it wasn't that way. So cool. Another beautiful tool, in our journey.
I'm curious about, from your knowledge of plants and working on your farm and your land and your extensive background, how do plants, and this is a very general question, but how do plants work together, and how can humans learn from plants in that capacity?
Well, it's a big
In a
question.
nutshell.
Yeah. So when people come here to learn about permaculture, one of the first thing is to understand the connection with the soil, with the land. What you want to work, we tell people we don't work on plants. The only service we do is with the soil. We nurture the soil. And we need to understand that the soil is a living organism. It's a living thing, it's a living entity. And I remember at the beginning, we were really talking about this, spreading the message, and people thought it was just sort of a metaphor, like something nice to say about the soil. And now science is backing up all this thing. Now we see like all these beautiful movies, like the Fantastic Fungi and all these amazing movies that are coming out that are talking about this thing. It's like, yes, finally, this is so cool that the message is just getting big. Once you take the soil, and you see it and you can feel it, the soils have a digestion, it have a electricity, it absorbs, it breathes, it have all the same things that we have. And also more interesting is that the same way that the soil, how do you say, let's call it eat, the same way that it process all the food, in the soil, it's exactly the same way that is within our organism, in our stomach, in our gut. It's exactly the same thing.
Wow.
Sometimes, yeah, it's mind blowing. We're just a projection from the soil. Now it's like this is making sense when they said, the Pachamama, the nature is your mom, and it's like we have exactly the same system. So we have fungi and bacteria and all billions and billions of little living entities inside of us, and that's the one that actually do the digestion. Sometimes we think we take a banana, I eat it, and then my organisms absorbs the banana, and that's not how it happens. It goes through a process of disintegration, in the stomach, and then the microorganisms start eating these things, and then what the microorganisms expose, is what we eat, is what our body actually takes. The same is for the soil. It's exactly the same thing. So when you take care of the soil, you take care, we have a big connection with the place where you are from. We have a deep, deep connection. So when you grow up in a place, you're connected to the food that place grows, right? So if you have the yuca is getting all those minerals and all those vitamins and all that energy from the sun. Because at the end, all these things that we see, all this movement, all this heat that we have in our body is energy from the sun that is transformed by the plants. But then back in those days, there's this beautiful story. When back in the days when you got to a new place, the first thing that you would do is just get onto your knees and kiss the ground, kiss the soil. And it was a sense, and people say, well, it's a way to recognize and to say, hey, I'm here. But in reality, what you were doing is like, yeah, I'm here. This is me. This is my body. You put your lips into the ground, and what you're doing is you're presenting yourself to the soil. So you're passing your DNA to the soil, and you're saying, hey, read me. This is me. And the soils right away will feel you, will connect with you, and it will provide the food that you need. Right? It will provide the medicines that we need. So that's why every culture has a different type of food. Right? And that's why we look different. That's why we have different traits and physical traits. And it was part of this as well. So the place where you are should provide the food that you need, and the soil knows is your mother, so it provide the things that you need. It will heal you. Nowadays we have like this crazy idea, about eating things from miles, thousands of miles away. Eating, I don't know, goji berries and things from Chile and things from Australia, and because they're good and organic. But technically, it would be better. It's ideal to eat at least something that is grown in your soil, in your place. At least having one plant, in your balcony, in your house, little tomato, a little something that allows you to connect. And of course, now we know through science that there is this beautiful web that connects all the trees, and they connect to you as well, so that's why we need to walk barefoot on the soil. We need to feel the soil. We need to eat and breathe. One beautiful thing here is like walking through the forest, especially when the things are blooming, when you have flowers everywhere. You go and you inhale, and that's medicine. Those beautiful smells, those beautiful scents, that are in the air is actually there bringing you medicines to your body. They're making you feel good, and they're giving you what you need. So this is how, to us, this is how plants connect, and this is how we connect to plants as well. We do the courses, or the permaculture courses. We start from the very beginning, how to compost, to see, we have a beautiful ceremony, how to make a food for the earth, how to get back to it, how you connect to the earth, because we do connect to the earth every single day, how to give back to it. And it's healing. When you do that, it's like your body changes, and you get the food that gives you the strength, and you don't get sick, and it's something that is good to experience.
Yeah, there are so many aspects of that I just resonate with so clearly. And I love the coming to the land and bowing down and kissing it, and that relationship of I'm here, and then the earth listening and providing what you need. Because as you were saying that, I was like, there are two instances that I know of, and I'm sure there's so many more, but two that came into my experience here on Long Island, where women who were, aware of botany and herbalism, and saw that they had one particular weed, considered a weed, growing in their yard, and it was really hard to get rid of. But then they finally stopped to listen, and it was like, all right, well, what weed is this actually? And I think one was dandelion. I can't remember what the other one was, but it turned out that they were working with an ailment in their body, and that the earth was providing the exact supplement, the healing antidote to what they were working with in their body. And they started working with that plant, And as soon as that ailment went away, the plant was gone. I'm like, talk about sentient being working with us, honoring us as we honor it when we see it. So that the connection to the soil, and also just like the gut of the earth, the microbiome that sustains our life force. And now more awareness is coming into, modern medicine of how important the gut health is. And hopefully, we're going to take some more steps in the United States to really tend to the soils of our lands here too. But thank you for offering that, because I think that is so important to hear and remember. And I'm curious for you, Paola, because you're originally from Argentina, and relating to the lands in Colombia and calling those lands your home, and what relationship you've gone through as you've transitioned through different lands, and the awarenesses you've gained with that.
Yeah, yes, I am from Buenos Aires. I'm a city girl. But at the beginning of the conversation, when Marlon was talking about the background of his family. The background of my family, not my mom and my dad, specifically my grandparents, they come from the countryside, not in Buenos Aires, but other states in Argentina. So I was thinking about that, how with some generations to look for a better life, they skip or they close that connection with the land to look for a better future in the cities. I was part of that for a while, following the path of my parents, what they choose for us to become a family. And also thinking about that today, like, wow, it's like honoring the ancestry, how you say it? Our ancestral part. Being here is kind of like a going back. I remember visiting my grandma when I was 6 years old in her house, and she lived right in front of a big river. And we have a river here, Some similarities that you sometimes feel like, okay, you're in the right place just to probably heal some things or remember some part of it, that they're always with you, because as a human beings, even if we are not connected with the land, we're not living close to it, we have the need always in ourselves, like this anxiety that we have to go to the forest, or we need to be close to a river, or to walk barefoot. And at some point in our life, it's like a matter of your own health, just to go and live close to nature. I consider myself very, very lucky. Not lucky, I'm blessed, just opening myself just to go with the flow. And this flow also led me to different learnings. And now that I'm living here, when people come and ask me, do you like other parts of Colombia? I visited many parts of Colombia, but I always like to be here. The weather here for me is the best. Here in the farm, not even 20 minutes away, not even 15 minutes away, because here it changed a lot. But living here, the weather here, what we explore in this, like a unique ecosystem that we live in, for me, like wow, this is magical. I suffer a lot when I go back to Argentina. Even last year, I was there in October, November, supposed to be springtime. It feels like a winter time, middle of the winter. And really, I feel like, what am I doing here, Not because of family, but just because the weather, I was kind of, I wanted to experience my memory from springtime that I had. So I think for me, the weather-wise, it's been really, really making me feel good, in a good vibe, living in this environment. And also because, I feel like I live in a place where people want to go on vacation. And it's this saying, like, live your life as you always live in vacation,
Yeah.
It's very much I feel very lucky, but also it's a set of mind that you need to remember every day, because it's very easy that you take this as a job. It's very easy that you take this as like doing a lot of things, and you forgot to enjoy what is to live in nature. Yeah. And I can call it home, and I really feel like this is home. Akasha is my house, and to have, like this canvas just to create and just to do and to think or to, I don't know, vision what I want to live. So it's very nice. I feel like very, very, very proud and what all the steps that I took, because even though I'm living far away from my family and sometimes, I miss them, uh, I cannot imagine at the moment my life going back to Argentina.
Yeah.
But I think in this time of my life, I'm really embracing living here and trying to do my best, every day. I think also living in this place with Marlon, that he's so keen just to do a lot of work in the land. I think that he's really passionate about it. Like, it's something that I can focus in other part of the project. So
Yep.
you have to be creative every day, every season, stop and, look back and keep looking forward and be, I don't know, gratitude. This is important, being in
Yep.
gratitude. And also we had a dogs. We had 3 dogs here, uh, and a cat. And it's really nice just to see them like being here, like freely living a good life. And also the people who come and visit us, being friends or visitors or students, how they take from this place a lot of beauty, and they recharge here, and they can go and sometimes replicate, open a new project in different part of the world, or just the reconnection with nature that we all need.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel honored.
It really seems from what I've seen in the pictures that you have your encanto there. It seems like this magical little bubble that you've cultivated. And this is a question I have really been enjoying asking my guests, which is, what is your favorite part about being human right now?
My favorite part at the moment, because it's
Yeah,
been changing a lot
it
at
can
the
always
moment,
change.
my favorite part is that I can sometimes take myself out of the daily life and go early in the morning into the ceremonial house that we have there, and connect more up, with meditation and yoga, and also trying to feel more myself, my body, and trying, not easy that part, but trying to get that feeling through the day. But just to have the opportunity just to get up before the sunrise, still dark, lighting a fire, and being there, it's really nice. I feel that is not everybody can do this mostly every day, and I feel like at this time of my life is something that is my fuel. It's my fuel. So yeah, I think, and be open to learn. That's the other part. Just nothing is all said. It's always a space for new things. Yeah, and being open just to keep on learning. Yeah.
I love that. It sounds like a dream.
For me, I guess this part of my life is honestly, I think it's been discovering my emotional dimension, my emotional part. I just didn't know I had one, or it was sort of an idea in my mind. But I remember we have a group of friends, what we call a community or community, and so we've been working together for 10 years, more than 10 years, almost 12, 15 years, and we'll wanted like this of how we had all this crazy idea of living in the country and exploring, learning with the medicines, and everything is beautiful. It was a very romantic idea, and but then a few years later we started having problems, situations, or very human situations, and it seems like everything was falling apart. So it didn't matter, how spiritual you were or how spiritual, you thought you were. Still, the human part comes to you, the things that you haven't resolved in your life. So, like drinking medicine or living in a farm or, like homesteading is not enough like to really resolve all these things. It's not just the solution. So that's what I say. Yeah, you don't have to do this to find that. So even though, we have all these beautiful things, we still started having problems, like very, very mundane problems. And it was difficult. We were splitting apart. We were separating, having problems. And it's like, okay, what are we missing here? And then that's when this other part of the medicine came in. Is we're talking about the compassion, the vulnerability, like really, really sitting down, open-hearted, honest with ourselves, and to start really, really sharing what was inside, not from our mind, not from the things, my idea of how things should be, but really just sitting down with your friends, especially with my male friends, my buddies, and having this men's circle. So, we're traditional, we're from Colombia, well, from all around the world, but, like we're not really good at sharing our emotions. We're not really good at opening our heart. The situation, all these crazy situations really make us, just to sit down and like what I was saying, it didn't matter how good, how much you know about things, about medicines and how, plants and all this. Yeah, you still have to do the work. You still have to sit down. So we learned to sit down and to really connect to a place that we never connected before, truly. That sometimes you experience with these other medicines, but just doing it, just like that, just sitting down and expressing honestly what you have inside was very tough. And then it was very beautiful. Then it's like, oh my God, what did we do here? This is amazing. Then what we discover how amazing, how powerful, how beautiful it is just to sit down and just to talk what you got inside, what you have, what you're going through. It's the most beautiful medicine. So, and then it's like, oh, and then you start like seeing emotions very directly, in the eye. Oh, this is emotion. you know, oh, this is hate, this is love, this is sadness, this is I have it. Oh, this is what everybody was talking about. This is this is how it make me feel. So it becomes this conscious, this awareness about this dimension that honestly I was really, how do you say it? I didn't see before, clearly. It was there, but I wasn't connecting in a clear and honest way. And then something beautiful started opening, a new dimension of growing, then when you see those things inside of you, then you also have the option to see it in other people as well, and to accepting, that other people might feel these strong emotions, and they might feel these really bad things towards you, or they have these concepts about you, about other people, but then you can sit down and talk about it and realize that's just an idea. It's like, ooh, it's something, it's an idea in our minds. It's nothing solid, it's nothing. And I stop like creating this big fuss and this big drama in life because of these things. So it really opened my life to a new dimension. And so that part right now is the one that I really like, like the emotional part, talking about these things, sitting down, getting deep into the stuff that we don't want to talk about. Like, I don't want to hear this. Okay, God, this is it. This is what I feel. And yeah, like losing it up, losing that fear and that, how do you say, like prevention, about these things. Like, oh no, I don't talk about this. This is private. This is a private thing. I don't share. Like, no. If it's something that is hard for you to share, maybe that's exactly what you need to share. But of course, it's good to have a good support group and with people that mature enough. And then when you do that, then you can even express it with anybody, even just someone you just met. And it's nice. The best of you, comes out. You can express yourself. You can be natural. And it's like, wow, this is really cool. It's like now I'm not it's good like you're not holding anything back. You can be yourself. You can make mistakes. You can like just say difficult things or wrong things, and it's okay. It's okay. So, and that it's to me, I feel that it's allowing me to grow as a person, to really fall in love. That after that, a lot of things also start happening, and like we were saying, like this deep connection with the land, feeling good about the things that I do, like really connecting from a different place, really loving and enjoying this type of life. Because yeah, the beginning sometimes it's just from the mind, It's like, yeah, I want to be a permaculture because it's cool, and we always start with the ego part, but then once you open that dimension, something new comes, and you really do out of service and out of like something that you enjoy and like to talk about and share with other people. So that part is really cool.
Yeah.
That's my human part that I really like right now. Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'm falling in love with myself. I guess I finally am love and like accepting and loving myself, I could say.
Mm.
And I think that reflects also on my relationships. I'm not perfect. I have a lot of things I need to work on, and I think Paola knows a lot about it. But I feel I'm a better person, a little bit, better person than before, just from connecting.
Mm. Yeah. Uh, that's very beautiful, and I think especially having the vocabulary and the awareness to acknowledge, like what you're saying, this is the emotion I'm feeling, and if it's hard to speak it out, and how transformative that is to really speak our emotions and allow ourselves to be witnessed, even if it's really vulnerable. I've definitely been in. I have to honestly say, I don't think I'm in that phase of my life at the moment, but I was definitely for a really long time like, all right, let's get into like the most honest, like raw emotional conversation that we can. And now I think I like laid off the gas a little bit. I'm like, all right, let's chill. But the edge that's there, and the liberation that comes from that is life-giving, really, because it opens up those new dimensions and portals, and that new level of love and appreciation for the person that is in front of you. So I love your answers. They're so beautiful. I asked you this in our first conversation, and I'm curious to see how your relationship to it is now. What do you feel like is the mission of cacao at this time?
Where I've been discovering about the mission of cacao in our work with the cacao. One aspect is like just to elaborate the ceremonial cacao that we do at the moment. It was a process of learning to reconnect with the land, accepting that we are living here and this is a life project, facing your fears, learning with the plants, being patient about timing. So it was a learning. It is still a learning experience, but at the beginning was like discovering all these things that living in a farm life is bringing to you. So one aspect is like growing personally, growing with the community, and growing as a couple. Have this space also to find a role, in all this life that we live in, with many layers of attention that we had to give to ourselves, and to others. So cacao, the ceremonial cacao, at the moment, I feel like as a result of all this work, hard work, in understanding that it's a beautiful medicine that is a bridge for us just to connect outside of the farm. And also this medicine of cacao have all the codes of all that the work that we do here with ourselves, with the land, with the knowledge we gain, with the elders when they visit and live, the permission and the teaching to us, and everything is charged in the cacao. And also the cacao is living this home with this blessing of consciousness, that whoever drink the cacao, if being around the cacao, also can have the opportunity to reconnect in the way that we are doing, and to connect with the heart and make this world a better place. This the seed that we send to the world through the cacao. Been a long journey, you know, and we're very proud of the cacao carry all this life experience with it. So yeah, I think the mission probably is just to keep bringing consciousness energetically, at least, but also in the real life, just to keep on doing what we do every day.
I love that. And I love how at the end you're just like, yeah, it's just to bring consciousness. It's like
Just
this
It's
epic
a long time, like 45
concept.
years of
evolution.
the wish, I could say, not the mission, but the wish, probably the wish.
Yeah, well, for me, I don't remember, to be honest, what I answered last time, but it might be the same. I honestly think like we are through a huge process of evolution, the humankind is. We're in this beautiful transition, where it's time, the time is, yeah, we just need to change. We need to evolve to something different. We never stop evolving, but this is a very crucial time, a very important time compared to, let's say, other parts of history. But in order to do that, we're like in this process of really understanding and learning about ourselves. Learning like getting away from this idea that we are our body, that we are ideas, we are what we do, that we are this external part. To some extent, yes, it's part of our, like this experience, but there's something more profound. There is this awakening, this self-realization of what exactly it is that we are, that we are life, that we are eternal, that we are these things that is able to observe, this thing that is able to, that creates all these things, all these emotions and all these things around them, but at the same time is this energy that is that creates, and at the same time is able to observe, to be a witness of all this. And I think what the medicine does, that's exactly what happens, when you drink the medicines. And when we started, like there are different medicines here in Colombia with the very sacred, strong ones, like ayahuasca or yopo, all these things. That's exactly what happens. It's like suddenly you are this ultimate observer that can see life, and you realize that you're not this body, that you're not these emotions, but yeah, you're still here. You're having this experience, this material experience. So we're going into this process of awakening, I feel. But these medicines sometimes it could be very strong. They're not like easy accessible, like these strong medicines, and it's not also for everybody. So, and that's when cacao comes into place, because cacao is this loving, very friendly, family-oriented, social medicine that you can drink every day, that is able to get you in touch with this emotional part. In my opinion, like the big step is to really awaken the emotional part. Our mind is well developed, our body, wow, we know a lot about our body. But then the emotional thing is like the thing that we shut down, in most cultures. Yeah. And yeah, we forgot to really see inside of us, to see all these things. And then we protect it, and then the ego come, creates this ego that protects it and creates your identity. And psychology is explaining this really well. But then this medicine, especially the cacao, comes to sort of like take the, how do you say, the blinders out, like the takes the curtain, and to say, "No, but look, this is you," and in a way that you can sit down. It's very social, in a way that you can sit with your friends, with your family, and get into this mode, emotional mode, and to get into this mode that is easy for everybody. So it's a medicine that allow us to really connect to ourselves, to connect with people, and it's helping is how do you say, like speeding up or lubricating the difficulties in which our society is, to help in this journey. And it's a beautiful. It comes here to help. The elders say, yeah, is these are grandmas, and every single tree, every single plant, especially the power plants, the medicine plants, they were grandmas and they were grandpas. That one day they decided, I want to be here on the earth to help my friends, to help my family, to help my grandkids, which we are. So they turn into this beautiful plant, and they just give, what we need, in order for us to grow and to express the best out of us, to help us in this human journey.
Yeah.
So that's my story. That's what I like to think. Know. Obviously I might be wrong, but and of course, missions I could talk from different levels, personal, professional, but I think in the general aspect, this is what's the most important one.
Yeah.
It's giving us a lot, and I think it's helping a lot of people as well. We have every time we listen to friends that share our medicine, it's like to really talk about this beautiful, incredible process of change in their life and bringing a new dimension,
Yeah.
kindness, more compassion, and also, yeah, thank you, Alexandra, for like helping on all this and this journey. You have a beautiful mission with the cacao, and I see you as a cacao, helper, as a cacao goddess, just bringing the cacao to everybody. So it's really cool. Thank you for keeping the connection and inviting us to share in your podcast.
And
Thank you
it's
so much.
like your perseverance, you believing in what you're doing and your dream, This is our second talk in 2 years, and a lot happened in between, but it's still ongoing. Yeah, it's very amazing how just to see people believing what they do. It's really nice that you keep on doing what you love and changing and exploring new ways, but being faithful for to do what you believe. It's really nice. You can feel the energy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for seeing me in that way and for receiving me and being so open and opening your doors and your hearts and your lives to us and to me. And I know there's so much more to explore, and I just want to thank you with so much gratitude for this time together. And one of the traditions on this podcast is that the previous guest, without knowing who the next guest is, leaves a blessing for the following guest. And we continue that cycle of blessing. So I have a blessing for you both lined up from our last guest. And uh, for you to just tune in and receive. And to you both, Marlon and Paola,
May you trust in your heart and your words, and may you be guided by your ancestors and the strength of your experience. May you be blessed and be supported by all those energies and angels and ancestors and everyone that loves you, to support you in walking the path, to be a pillar that makes a beautiful impact on the world by being yourself and sharing yourself. May we, or you, reach the highest potential that you know that you can. All the best.
so beaming that all to you.
That's nice. That was a nice surprise.
Yeah. And it's again, every time that we have the conversation and at the end, the blessing from the previous guest is just really on point. Like certain words that are used, and it's like, oh, yes, the weaving and the connection and the heart there. So that was meant for both of you in this moment in time.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you.
And if you feel called to now, just tuning into our next guest, if you would like to share a blessing for them that I would love to pass along and share from you.
Hmm. Do you have their names by any chance? I'm still thinking about it.
Yes, if you want to. Do you want to know her name? Sure. Her name is Alexa.
Alexa.
So the blessing is for Alexa. All right. Alexa, here in this circle, connecting with your energy, being so grateful for the work you're doing, wherever you are, honoring your path, working with the tools that Mother Earth give it to you. We feel very honored to share this world that you're part in. So blessing your work, your thoughts, your actions to make this place a better world. And from here, from Colombia, sending you the good vibes of the birds, the river, the waterfall, the cacao plants, this abundant forest that surround us. And thank you for doing what you're doing.
Alexa, receive these blessings. Open your heart, your mind, your body. Feel the beautiful strength, the abundance of the waterfall, the river. Always resonate on this place. The mountains, the sun, the water. Always, always, always remember you're a beautiful human being, being part of this beautiful human experience, bringing the joy, bringing the compassion, bringing the understanding, serving as a channel for this humankind to open to a new dimension. Always walking with strength, understanding that you're a daughter of this Mother Nature, you're a daughter of this the sun, the stars, the earth, and that you have a very important mission. So connect always to your heart and resonate always with your heart. It will show you your path. Sending love from Akasha. Big hug to you, Alex. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for those beautiful blessings, and I look forward to bestowing those blessings upon her.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much for this time. I feel so nourished and full, and like I want to listen again and digest it all. I want to thank you again for your time and your energy and your love and your wisdom.
Thank you so much, Alexa. Thank you for always thinking about us in a good way and also recognizing the work we do. It's important to us. And thank you because we are like a big web that is expanding. All these projects coming up. I think it's an amazing time that we're sharing, keep spreading the word and the seeds together. And we're here whatever you need. Come visit or, share more. We're here, always open to work together.
Yes. Yay. I look forward to. I have lots of plans and ideas. So I will be in touch.
And
And
yeah,
just for our listeners to be able to connect with you, the best way to purchase your cacao is still through Etsy. And is that correct?
yes, right now it is. We're working on our website, which is coming out pretty soon, which that will be a really nice and also cheaper way to get our cacao and also to connect directly to us. They can also contact us directly and we have our website.
Okay.
We can give it to you. That's the Permaculture Akasha site. And yeah, that's for now. That's kind of like the best way. We also have our Instagram if somebody wants to reach us.
Yeah. But so far, it's yeah. So far, Etsy is still on.
Mm-hmm.
It's still helping us a lot, with distribution over there. So, and we're very grateful for, whoever tries our cacao already, and hope, they can take a little bit of off with them. It's really empowering us just to keep on doing what we do and keep on learning. And yeah, it's been a really nice journey.
Also, Alexa, we want to thank you for all this. Thank you. And I also want to express that you're doing a beautiful job. That
Thank
you
you.
are doing an amazing part of this mission, this huge mission that we all have, and you're doing it in a very beautiful way. So expressing that you have our recognition, our admiration, our love as well, and friendship, and yeah, always don't doubt about what you have inside. Your power, your strength. You're a powerful woman. We can feel
Mm.
that. We can see that, and yeah, just connect to your heart. I will show you the way. Big blessings from Akasha to you as well.
Thank you so much for
Hmm.
receiving that and allowing that to nourish and land. So thank you so much for your words, and we'll just take a few minutes to close the space as we
Hmm.
begin to integrate this conversation, integrate the wisdom, the thoughts, the movement, the seeding, the recalibration of our inner soils, of our inner mind, of our emotions, and allowing ourselves to once again, if it feels resonant, placing one hand on our heart, one hand on our belly, that connection to our vessel, and just feeling ourselves, and maybe noticing the difference in how we feel from when we began this journey on this call to where we are now. How much richer our lives feel just through thought, through conversation, through cacao, through opening, through breath, and allowing whatever is needed to further your life, further your potential, allowing that your seeds to actually grow into that strong, beautiful plant they are meant to be, to really take root, and knowing that you're not alone, that we work together through interconnection, in relationship, through honesty and love, and allowing ourselves from the space as we integrate in blessing, as we give thanks to the heart of the earth, thanking the heart of the earth, giving thanks to the heart of the sky, the sun, the moon, the stars, the planets, the cosmos. We give thanks to all of these energies, giving thanks to the air all around us, giving thanks to the waters and to the fires, giving thanks to the heart of ether and to the heart of the void, giving thanks to our ancestors, our guides, our guardians, our protectors, our communities, our lineages, physical and non-physical, and all of the people, all of the signs, all of the soils that have guided us and supported us along our path. And from our hearts, we give thanks to the heart of Mama Cacao, blessing the sacred fruit that has brought us here together today in this beautiful weaving of the vision of our hearts here. Thank you to Paola and Marlon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And our conversation is closed, and it is done, it is done, it is done. And it is fun, it is fun, it is fun. Oh.
Yes, we did it. It feels good.
Thank you so much for joining us in this conversation with Marlon and Paola from Akasha Cacao. Their journey reminds us of the deep connection between nature, cacao, and community. So I highly encourage you to try their cacao. It is so magical. You can just taste the energy of who they are and the lands that they tend to and the beauty that they share with this world. So definitely go to their Etsy page and try their cacao. And keep an eye out for our next panel discussion, which will be on March 30th. So coming up really soon. If you'd like to register already, you can head over to conversationswithcacao.com and register for this next panel. Join us for a beautiful morning of cacao and discussion, and any questions that you have for our guests are welcome. So come and join like-hearted community and share your love of cacao and grow your wisdom. And as always, we have our Monday circles and Friday circles, Mondays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time and Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If you'd ever like to join, we are a growing community. It is a beautiful time to connect with cacao, to connect with your essence, your sovereignty, and like-hearted community. So please also head to the website to check out any information on our bi-weekly circles. I hope that this conversation provided for you the minerals and nutrients that you need to nourish your soils, the soils of your heart, the soils of your mind, and the soils of your spirit. And may these conversations continue to tend to your roots as you awaken your heart and learn to embody your magic, because you are pure magic. Until next time.